brought up something very interesting earlier to me was the comfort part, the comfortability that we have to share. We don't have that with family necessarily, sometimes friends, strangers, coworkers. And we didn't always have that until recently. It's really only been the past couple of years to where we finally have been able to open up with each other.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is. Is it just after 12 years it's finally like, all right, fuck it, here we go. Like let's finally really get into this. Or is it just now that it's more acceptable to start to share these emotions and these feelings with everybody? And I just wanted to get y'all's take on it, Q. You know, what do you think? Why are we just not getting into this?
I got diagnosed at 27 years old with anxiety and depression. The first time that I can backtrack and remember this is what anxiety was, I was 17 years old. I used to go to a park around midnight, 1 a.m., something super dramatic, and I would listen to music, and I just had this feeling that made me uneasy that no one understood. And that's when I first experienced it, but I wasn't educated. 10 years later, that's what I had. And we all have a friend who went through it, but we didn't understand it. We knew he was medicated, and we knew this is something he struggled with, but we didn't know what it was. Come to find out, multiple years later, we all have gone through the same thing. So it's about education in the sense of what it feels like, how it changes you, and what you can do from that point, in my opinion. So the timeline of it is pretty much education. Back then, that wasn't a real thing. You know, whether it be for, black or minority families or any family at all. Hey, mom, I feel this. They feel a certain way because they don't understand it themselves because their generation wasn't educated.
Sure.
So I think the biggest thing is education of it. And that's why now we see so many people have it. We don't question it, but back then it was something that could be questioned and you felt crazy. You felt insecure. You felt like you couldn't talk to your friends, your own family about it, which left a void in you to just dig deeper in that darkness. And I think figuring out what it is the number one step.
Gotcha. No, that makes a lot of sense, Alex. So it sounds like it's more of an education thing and not necessarily a comfortability thing, which it has something to do with it.
Right. I think both ties down to it. It's I think more so an educational thing. You don't know until you know type thing. It's one of those, especially in our community, the black community, where it's like I don't even want to put that in air quotes. The black community, where it's I mean you don't talk about it. You feel weird. You feel weird saying that.
Yeah.
You even feel weird saying you don't feel okay. Like you feel weird even saying it. So like when and especially I think and that's why I'm gracious for these times now because like you said, Q. Now it's becoming more of a light. It's becoming more of a light, and I think as far as comfortability, that plays a big part too because it's like. If I say this, what is the response going to be? Are you going to say that are you going to say that I want attention? Are you going to say that I'm just saying shit just to say shit? Or do you, or like, it comes down to that. Especially for me. Are you just saying it for attention or are you just saying it, like, that's a big thing. So I think that's what makes it uncomfortable to really talk about. To really say like, hey, something is wrong with me. And I mean, like you said, these days it's become more of a light, and thank God it has. But what took it so long? Like that, like why does it take so long for us to really get this shit out?
Go ahead, Devin.
I think with me going through like therapy and figuring it out, vulnerability and transparency, honestly, that's like a huge thing. So what's happened is that basically we never really we didn't know how to be vulnerable as kids and how to be transparent with it. So like, yeah, I've known each and every person sitting right here 10 plus years, 15 plus years. And I'm forever grateful for that. But you don't know how to be vulnerable and transparent with people that you already know. Because realistically, it's like, you're vulnerable and transparent to a point. It gets to a point where it's like, quite frankly, if you ask me, like, you're like, you can make a statement of like, oh, Tevin, you lie so easily. You bet your ass I'm gonna lie. I'm gonna lie about how I'm feeling, right? Because realistically, I don't want you knowing my deep parts. Because for me, it turned down to, if they know who actually what it is and what's going on, they won't fuck with me how they fuck with me. And it's learning about yourself as you grow.
As you grow.
But I think it's as you grow. It's like it's educational as our community goes. There's so many times I've heard it. It's like, oh, you tell your parents, I'm depressed. Pray about it. Talk to God.
Okay.
Let's figure it out.
So where does that stem from? Because it's like, I can think back to when I was like 10, 11 years old, and you know when your mom just used to just piss you the fuck off, and you just go into your room and you just like, oh, you know, fuck my mom, you talking your shit, and then you just like hold your breath to try to think you're gonna commit suicide, and you holding your breath and you're like, oh, well, I'm gonna kill myself, and this is gonna be
not funny. This is not funny because it's very true because everybody.
And that's where it fucking stems from.
Generational thing. It's generational curses.
I can think at 12 years old I was doing that. I was holding my breath thinking, yep, this is gonna kill me. And
now she's trying to confer over her. Like, no, like it gets to a point where it's just like
that's what it feels like.
But it's generational things though. So like what I'm learning is as I'm getting older, we can't blame our parents for the shit that they did.
Okay.
Because they're only being taught what they've known.
Okay.
And so yeah, you have the few or one-off parents who like they grew up and like their parents broke their parents before them broke that generation curse, like our grandparents, right? But I will never sit here and say like my mom has been a very big advocate on if you need therapy, get therapy. That was the one thing she was solid on. She's solid about a lot of other shit too. What I'm gonna say is it's just like there are certain things that she grew up with. She can't change that because that's how she was raised and how she was brought up and that's how she was taught. And I don't blame her for that because that's all she ever knew. Yeah. And then the older you get, the more you realize, okay, hey, there's different ways to go about X, Y, and Z. So let's figure that out. And so now we're having this conversation and we're going about it this way. And it's like, okay, great. Let's do it. Let's try other things. Because there are other avenues and other lives.
But I feel like going back to Smith, I feel like that's why it's hard. I feel like that's why it's so hard to be comfortable.
Oh, it's very hard. Because
just
think about it this way.
What's wrong?
Okay, I'm gonna ask you this right now. Is your mom vulnerable and transparent? By any means.
Before we get into family, because that's a whole different.
That's a whole different segment.
Just go ahead. Just everybody go around the room, just real quick, briefly, just a little bit of it's that education part, that foundation of knowing what to look for and what to see before you can really understand what's going on. Just kind of share your thoughts, just real briefly on how someone can get educated or what needs to happen. What do we got to do from here?
I think that education steers from your peers, and I didn't just make what I'm saying. That's all.
That was like fire.
That was clever. That was clever.
It just came to me. I mean that because at the point, I'm not talking to mom and dad about what's going on. I'm not talking to my brother.
Absolutely.
About what's going on to me. I'm talking to my best friends, my closest friends, and they don't know how to deal with it either.
Sure.
So when things are going on, I'm talking to people. Now I'm emotional. Now all these things, and I mean we're all young. But once you get that stigma, you're stuck with it.
Sure.
You can make an accident at a school dance, and you're stuck with that. You're known for that one thing. So when I'm going through things, it's hard for me to talk about it with my gentleman friends. And I know, fragile masculinity is a thing, and that's not what this conversation is about, but that adds to it. Because if I can't trust my friends to help me work through my things at a young age.
Absolutely. So just a real quick bullet point from you two. If the friendship part of understanding and educating is kind of where we're focused on right now. Just real quickly from you two, how do you help your friends become more educated if they aren't struggling?
I mean, I think just be more open. I think just be more open and just communicate. It's communication at that point. It's just it's understanding that like we said, I'm not doing this shit for attention. I don't know. I don't even know where that even came from. I mean, well, I have an idea. I have an idea.
I knew exactly where it came from.
But I mean, when if I'm coming to you and I'm saying, "Hey Q, I'm not feeling today, whatever," as a friend, I think we should take that as a more serious route. That's just like I think that's just all. And sometimes that's all you need is just your friends to just be there for you. Just
100%.
be there.
100%. And I think what it comes down to is that so many times people are always told like, oh, like you can't really share your shit. But this is the biggest thing I think I've learned in my 27 years of being in the simulation that we call life. Quite frankly, bro, any feeling that you have is validated because it's your feelings. You feel this. You can't change it. You can't take it back. So therefore, if your friends are like, I feel like you're constantly doing X, Y, and Z, and you're doing a woe is me type of thing, reevaluate that friendship. Because quite frankly, that friendship probably is not great for you. And that's fine. That's fine. You grow out of friendships. You grow out of life.
I think we need to learn that too. That's a big thing too.
I think learning that
we're so scared to let friendships go.
We're afraid to let friendships go, and that's how it is. It's like we don't want to let it go because we're like, oh, we've known this person for so long. And I'm saying like this, and I might get censored on YouTube. Fuck you niggas, quite frankly, because you can grow out of friendships like you grow out of relationships. A friendship breakup is worse than a friendship is worse than a breakup.
Hey, friends and family fall into this whole different
I think that
category.
I think it might be more advanced when you're dealing with friendships and relationships. Like I think a relationship you have more control over because it's just you and that other person. But as far as friendships, then you need to lighten that up and you need to have that open space.
There's more to that, and we'll get with that, and we'll circle back in with family because how do you cut off somebody that you love like that?